Hello, Steve. Hello, Manel.
Hey, Tony. How are you?
Good.
Hi, Tony.
Thank you for joining us today. I don't know if you heard my intro, but I think I covered a little bit of what Theriva does, but I know that there's a long list of innovations that we can probably cover with Theriva Biologics. And but to kick things off, I would love to get your thoughts on just what the future holds in terms of utilizing viruses for the treatment of cancer. This is something that is so foreign to me, the science of this, but I don't know, I would love to sit like our listeners and learn a bit more. I'll start with Steve.
Yeah, maybe I'll start out. Well, we're very excited about what we're developing. We have what we believe is really a unique and differentiated oncolytic virus. We've optimized it to be delivered systemically. That means by IV, and there's a lot of benefits for doing that. And it's also been designed to be used in combination with other types of cancer treatments. And what we're starting to learn in the field of cancer is that combination therapies, seem to be, where this is all heading. So there's a real opportunity for us to, get our product ultimately through the clinic and hopefully over the line through approval and help some of these patients that really are still looking for solutions for very, very difficult to treat cancers.
Now, Manel, I know we spoke earlier about how Barcelona has sort of become this innovation hub for biotechnology. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, happy. So yes, it's true that Barcelona is becoming a new hub for biomedical sciences, basically in the south of Europe. There are several reasons for that. Probably one of the things is obviously the quality of the academic institutions that we have here. Also, I think that the clinical development in Spain is gaining a lot of train right now. There's a lot of companies landing in Spain at that moment and in the Barcelona area, but also more generally speaking in Spain, because the quality of clinical research in the sites in Spain it's very high, and it's very convenient because it's a fast process for moving the clinical development, and that's the case. That's also a plethora of different biotech companies that has been founded or are been developing products in the last, let's say, 20 to 10 years, let's say. And there's some more recent events that are consolidating the space. For instance, the landing of AstraZeneca site in Barcelona very recently, and they are expanding capacities. And I think, yes, that's a really exciting environment where we are right now.
And Steve, I would love to get your thoughts on the Virage clinical trial. I understand that you had some success with that trial. Why don't you tell our viewers about it?
So we actually got into a relationship with VCN, which was the company that we ultimately acquired to gain access to the technology. We were introduced to the VCN team, which was a company being incubated here in Spain by Grifols, the big plasma company. We first met them back in 2021. We had a great opportunity when we started doing our diligence to meet their team, and we actually found out that a number of their team members had collaborated with our team members in the States in previous endeavors. So that was exciting, and it allowed us to get over one hurdle of integrating two cultures into one business with a common goal. Specifically on the trial, we were very impressed during our diligence by the amount of human clinical data that was already generated by the VCN team. Based on that, we made the decision to not only get the transaction over the line, but to very quickly advance the technology into a phase 2 program in metastatic pancreatic cancer patients, and that's exactly what we're doing today. The specific data that impressed us so much on the phase 1 trial that was previously conducted was that using the VCN-01 virus in combination with standard care chemotherapy and at a high dose, we were able to generate response rates in a small patient sample, but nonetheless response rates, in other words, a reduction of 30% or more in the tumor size at the 83% level. Where standard of care, we were observing rates somewhere in the 23% range. We also saw overall survival, which is the key metric that the FDA and EMA approved product like this around. We saw overall survival go up to an average of about 21 months, when in hindsight and in reality, the overall survival for patients once diagnosed and treated with standard care chemotherapy is somewhere in the 8 to 11 month range. So that was compelling enough for us to not only get the transaction done, enter a relationship, and then move forward into a phase 2 trial.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the pancreatic cancer and why it's so challenging. Theriva is trying to find treatments to one of the more difficult cancers to treat. And let's start with Manel. I would love to get your thoughts on why it's so crucial. There's a 5-year survival rate for pancreatic cancer patients. Let's talk a little bit about the innovation there and how we can improve that with each and every study.
Yeah, you are right. Pancreatic cancer is really a devastating disease. Okay, and why chemotherapy is not effective, or why most of the therapies, immunotherapy, is not effective in pancreatic cancer. Maybe it's not a single reason, but that's a major driver here, that it's the pancreatic lesions are covered by a dense stroma that we call tumor matrix that really prevents the accessibility for chemotherapy or for other therapeutic agents. So for us, from the beginning, that was a relevant point, and that's why we decided to create a product radically new, which is a virus that can selectively replicate in tumors. So it's a virus that when infects a cell, it's able to recognize if the infected cell, it's a normal or it's a tumor cell. If it's a normal cell, virus stop anything. It's doing anything in the cell. However, if the virus recognizes that the infected cell, it's a tumor cell, it behaves as a virus. It kills the tumor cell and generates a lot of copies of himself that propagate to neighboring cells and recognize again if it's tumor or normal cell and amplify the therapeutic effect until reaching healthy margins in the tumor where viral replication stops again. Okay, that's a really differentiated mechanism of action, because you kill the virus with you kill the cells with a different mechanism. But in addition, our virus, when replicating, it expresses a product called PH20. It's an enzyme that degrades this stroma in the tumor cells, and by doing that, it favors the spreading of the virus, but also enhance the activity of the chemotherapy or the immune system. And this combination of different effects, it's what makes VCN-01, that's the name of the virus that we are developing, as a very unique product. Moreover, one of the major differentiators of our product is that this product can be systemically delivered. And compared to other companies in the field of what is called the oncolytic virus field, we are very unique because we are one of the companies that has demonstrated that systemic delivery is the way to proceed. And our virus is selective enough to be systemically dosed without major significant toxicity, which is really a game changer in our field.
And Steve, can you point to any previous studies that in utilizing viruses to treat cancer that worked and that were groundbreaking, and perhaps it's not with pancreatic cancer, but with another type of cancer?
So the oncolytic virus field isn't new, but it has had its struggles. And, I think in some ways, that's one of the reasons why we see a disconnect in our market value and the opportunity that we believe, still lies ahead for us and our investors. There was a recent success, and it's been very public. There's a company called CG Oncology that just went public on the heels of some pretty positive phase 3 data in bladder cancer. They are using an adenovirus. The design of that virus is much different from what we're doing. They're using that virus and getting it directly into the tumor, whereas Manel has alluded, ours is delivered by IV or systemically. But nonetheless, I think ultimately that product is on track to get approved. Based on that data, they had a very successful IPO. They raised, I believe, in excess of $400 million, and their market cap is in the billions right now. So I guess there's a classic example of somebody having success in this space, taking advantage of it, and having a successful financing so that they can further advance that product as well as others that may be in their pipeline.
And Manel, what would you say is the biggest expense in terms of research and trying to test these viruses to treat cancers? What's like the biggest expense that revenue goes towards?
So basically, there's two sources of expense here. Obviously, one is the clinical development. Obviously, clinical development is always an important thing in a company like us. Also, manufacturing. In the case of viruses, it's a driver for the expense. However, in our case, we have internally a team of devoted scientists to working in the manufacturing process of our product, and they are doing a great job. In fact, they are trying to improve the yield of our production, and they are also reducing the cost significantly. And they are doing a kind of different steps in the manufacturing part. For instance, moving for upscaling, working in suspension cell lines that we have developed. We have our proprietary cell line to generate that new manufacturing process, and all these activities are really reducing the cost of goods for our product, which is very important because in our strategy, we are moving for a systemic delivery. We are dosing high doses of viruses, but we are reducing the cost. So we are really approaching to a situation where our product is really affordable for any health system. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about affordability. You know, a lot of these treatments come out and they're very expensive. Steve, can we talk a little bit about that? And, you know, I guess the disparity in terms of what people can afford when they get sick, and by the time these treatments come to market, and keeping costs low and working with healthcare providers and making sure people can get the care that they need.
That's an incredibly important question, and it's something that we think about and take very seriously here. And it's one of the reasons why we've put so much emphasis on our manufacturing process, because ultimately, even if this product's approved, it has to be affordable. And the payers, you know, regardless of where you're at in the world, you know, will need to be able to cover that through some form of insurance. As part of our internal processes, we've gone through all the advanced market access study work. Not only have we spent time talking with the key opinion leaders to make sure that there was a definite need for a product like this, which there is, we also, and those were live interviews with, I believe, over 20 key opinion leaders around the world. We also talked with over a dozen payers. These are the private and public insurance companies, laid out the product profile and gave them a sense of where we expect this product, where it was going to be priced in combination with standard of care therapies. And hands down, everybody said that if this product ultimately got over the line, it would be reimbursed and paid for. We are doing our hardest to develop a product that, you know, is going to be priced probably, you know, in the thousands, not the hundreds of thousands or the millions. And again, we take that very seriously.
That's good to know, Steve. Thank you very much. That's about all the time we have. Is there anything else that you'd like to, that I perhaps didn't get to, that you would like to make sure people know about Theriva?
Well, we think we've got a really great, exciting story, and I'd encourage interested parties to, you know, go to our website, check out the company. We have our earnings call coming up on
March 25th, right?
March 25th, and we'll give an operational update and updated financial guidance as well at that time.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Manel, it's been a pleasure.
Just one single thing. If you are interested to know how looks a virus, you can see the picture after Steve, which is a picture of our BCN01 virus, and you can see it in direct live.
I'm actually in our Barcelona offices today with Manel.
Oh, fantastic. So it's late in the day for you guys, I imagine.
It's all right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, folks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony.
Okay, thank you.